everybody. Welcome to episode 1058 of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. We are all HOTTOGO. To my right.
We should just learn about Chaperone.
I learned about it 15 minutes ago. Already a number one fan. I'm going to see her on Sunday at the ACL Music Festival. No, I'm not. To my right, JD Rader is. He's going to see Chaperone and whoever is on his shirt, who I think is dead. I think that's Merle Haggard.
Nope. Close.
Who is it?
Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings. Mm-hmm. Also dead?
Also dead, yes.
Okay. Can't see him Sunday. Mm-hmm. To my left, it's Tyler Meisinger, the founding member of the wrestling department here at, well, just with that shirt, basically.
Oh, that's Stolen Valor.
Yeah, sorry. That's Roman Bravo Young's shirt. I want a shirt like that.
Then buy one.
Okay, I don't think
you hate. Christian has said this a lot of times. He hates supporting athletes, so he refuses to buy their things.
Yeah, I know. That is the one hang.
He always just goes, give me.
Yeah.
No, I am not like that at all. That I will get out in front of. And to the left, a man who we should give shirts with Hawaiian patterns on them. Mm-hmm. Andrew Spencer Spay. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for joining us once again. A full week of Spay. How did we get so lucky?
How did I get so lucky to be here?
We're all lucky.
Thankful.
We're all lucky to be here. We have a lot to talk about. We have so many topics that are absolutely pertinent that we're going to get into. We're going to do, of course, 133-pound tiers. 125 was the last show, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Debate the pound for pound. You guys love doing that. I know that now after my tweet. Mm-hmm. We're going to give a little update on Bo Bassett's recruiting. Penn State's lineup. I did a video about that, but now I have new thoughts I want to talk about, and I'm sure you guys would like to weigh in. AJ Ferrari's latest exercise video and his challenge / advice. I guess it was advice to Carter Starocci, and so much more. That's the other thing I wrote, and so much more. Because, I mean, who knows where else we're going. Maybe even some topical rip from the headlines news related to this generation. Maybe. Maybe. Because it sounds like binge drinking is off the menu based on this news report. But that's a tease.
Okay.
We'll kick it to JD Rader to get started with the opening round. James, hello.
Yeah, Christian, you sparked quite the conversation with your tweet yesterday, just posting mine and the father, John Kozak's pound for pound NCAA rankings, top 10. A lot of people weren't happy with it. So we are going to debate what they should be and decide what they should be, even though they're obviously 100% correct.
Yes.
So here they are. Number 1, Carter Starocci. Number 2, Keegan O'Toole. Number 3, Parker Keckeisen. 4, Andrew Alirez. 5, Greg Kirkfleet. 6, Levi Haynes. 7, Ryan Crookham. 8, Jesse Mendez. 9, Bo Bartlett. 10, Caleb Henson.
So, yeah, what were some of the most common complaints that you saw or thoughts about it?
No, Mitchell Messenbrink.
Yeah,
that was probably number 1.
I did that. I cropped it just at the top 10 because, they're going to be like, where's Mitchell? So I think it's a good question. Where is Mitchell Messenbrink? Why is he outside of the top 10? We all saw what this guy did last year. Oh, my gosh, it's audacious. And I would say, and I admitted this, and I don't do these rankings, so it's nothing for me to shred them. But they're not very shreddable. But if you're looking for one, you could maybe say Mitchell because he had a single loss last year and was extremely dominant. But the more I've looked at it, the more I thought about it, the more I kind of agree with you guys that he's probably at the right spot at number 11 behind Caleb Henson. But I don't know if Tyler Meisinger agrees.
No, I agree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I agreed earlier too.
Oh, well, we went back. Oh. We had this
okay. Well, okay.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't about
the lights come on and a little cowardly.
I was trying. Because I don't know. I love Caleb Henson. I think he's a dog. I think he is one of the
just
best
say but and
people
get
to
be around.
Yeah.
He seemed foreign in the top 10 to me. I was like, I don't know if he belongs here.
Very domestic.
But I just like at first glance I was like, I really like him. He's good, but he lost to Arrington last year. He lost to Ridge Levitt last year, and he lost in the. No, is that it? That might be it.
Arrington Lovett, I think that was it.
But so I was like, I don't know. Is there someone that can be above him? But when I thought about it, like who Mitchell, as dominant as he was, like didn't beat like a guy that was like solid number 1 all year.
And that's the thing. Mitchell dominated everybody, but what was his best win this year? Hamity?
Caliendo.
Caliendo, which is a good win, and he did dominate. But we don't take eyeball test and factor in.
Well, I think you do. You should. I mean, you certainly should factor in dominance and bonus points. So I think in a way you should factor that in 100%, because when you're separating the excellent among the excellent, those are things you have to factor in dominance. I would say a more notable thing is Mitchell beat, I think, one All-American this year, one guy that placed last year, and it was Caliendo 3 times, I believe. And
Correct.
He beat Hamady, who did not place. So that was his other good win, but Hamady DNP'd. So that's compared to Caleb, who beat Ridge Lovett, who beat Austin Gomez, which is probably why Tyler forgot about everything Caleb did, because he just completely dissociated in that moment. But he beat Parco. He beat,
the argument I was making earlier.
Ty Waters twice. He majored Ty Waters.
The argument I was making earlier for maybe someone being ahead of Henson, it was the Ridge Lovett, when we looked at it, didn't hold as much weight as we maybe thought, because Ridge lost to Parco earlier in the year. He wasn't just like the solid number one all year long. I mean, maybe he didn't get ranked lower after that loss, but he wasn't like this perfect guy until Caleb beat him. And then he also did lose twice immediately after that.
I'm pretty sure Ridge was ranked number one going into Big Tens and out of Big Tens, despite the Parco loss. He had been that much better than the other 149s.
Because he had beaten Henson.
And he had beaten Henson. Henson beat Parco.
Henson also had a loss.
Yes, to Arrington. So it was like no one really to put number one. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's really close. And the challenge for Mitchell is going to be, as he looks to climb, and I think all things considered, I mean, a video I think is going to come out today where I give my Hodge predictions and likelihood, and I think Mitchell Messenbrink is the most likely guy to win the Hodge this year. I think it's going to happen. I think he's going to be the most dominant NCAA champion we have this season.
You don't think they'll give it to Starocci if he goes undefeated and wins handily and beats Parker Keckeisen?
So what I did,
the All-Star duel, and wins his 5th title?
Well, that all has to happen. That's all.
So you think it's more likely that Mitchell goes undefeated and dominates and Carter loses?
Yeah. So everything's factored into everything passes through the filter of will they be an undefeated NCAA champion and the likelihood of that. And Mitchell is so much a more likely undefeated NCAA champion than even Carter. I mean, Carter versus Parker, I think it's charitably a toss-up match, right? I don't, maybe the general consensus will have Carter as the favorite, but I'm not there as a clear favorite. So that all just passes through that. And Mitchell is significantly more dominant than Carter, right? And we've already seen they won't go lifetime achievement for the Hodge anymore. I mean, Yanni won his 4th title and did not win the Hodge. I don't even know if he was a nominee.
Didn't he lose that year?
He lost one time to Austin Gomez.
He wasn't an undefeated 4-timer that year.
Well, he's got to be undefeated is my point. And it's to beat Parker at potentially the All-Star and also NCAAs, that cuts into the percentage likelihood of Mitchell. So, I mean, I think you could argue that one. I think Parker over Keegan is definitely a debate. I think you could go Keckeisen higher than Keegan O'Toole, because certainly Parker beat everyone in front of him, but he doesn't have a David Carr win, and there wasn't a David Carr in his weight class.
That's the thing for Keegan.
He killed everybody. He was so dominant. He beat so many guys. By so many points, he bonused his way through.
Barely beat Bernie at the All-Star.
Well, yeah, but then what happened after that? And that was a weird match. They let Bernie run. They let him run. And in wrestling, you don't run. So if that was officiated properly, and Bernie is made to stay on the mat, which say what you want, make your comments about the mat, but if you have to stay on it, I think that match is probably not quite as close, though, not taking anything away from Bernie, who has beaten Parker in the past. But we saw that was more of an outlier performance. Him having a close match with Bernie Truex was an outlier performance in Parker's season. Sure. And if that's your outlier performance is a win over Bernie Truex at the All-Star, doesn't that put it in even more clear focus just how great Parker Keckeisen is?
Yep. Splitting hairs, multiple wins over David Carr gets you the bump over Parker, who has, when he's faced those multiple national champion level guys, as Aaron Brooks, he's faltered.
So I had a gut reaction that I think many people on Twitter did to Crookham Mendez. So Ryan Crookham is number 7, Jesse Mendez number 8. And my gut was no. And then you have to look at everything.
Do you agree with Raider and the father?
So you can't listen. This is the pound for pound is the ultimate splitting of hairs. There's nothing but nits to pick with these kids. So you look at this, and he's got a loss to Cole Matthews, who was sub 500 going into January, was 3-7 at one point last year, did not place, and he also has a loss to Bo Bartlett. And Jesse Mendez, he did win NCAAs, but Ryan Crookham has 2 wins over Vito Arujau, among other All-Americans and really elite guys. And 1 loss was to Vito, who he was 2-1 against. That's a better win than what Jesse Mendez has, right? I think
Vito's pretty good.
Vito is pretty good.
I'm actually shocked that your first inclination was no.
Just see. I mean, in my mind, Jesse Mendez is better than Ryan Crookham. I do believe that. These can be separate, things. I think Mitchell Messenbrink is one of the best in the world. I think Mitchell Messenbrink should be ahead of Bo Bartlett in terms of perception of how good I think he is. But in terms of what is proven on the mat, which is what this ranking is,
Not predictions,
which is what this ranking is based on, it needs to be so. It needs to be that Mitchell is behind those guys currently. It needs to be that Jesse is behind Ryan Crookham currently. And I think it'll all work out.
And season one is always like the wonkiest or the weirdest, and
you have the least data.
Yeah, and it's the one that makes people question it the most, and they have the most issues with. And it's like, well, it's the start of the year, so let some more data come out.
Yeah, and I think you could sell me on any particular order with Alirez, Kirkfleet, and Haynes, and I would be okay with it. I think what Levi did last year was really exemplary, but I think there's also and when you look at Greg Kirkfleet, and he's an undefeated national champion. He tech followed Wyatt Hendrickson. He has multiple wins over Hendrickson. And he has wins over Mason Parris. And pound for pound just takes in a larger set of data. So I think he could go ahead of Alirez.
My question is, why was Alirez put 4?
Undefeated national champion, win over Real Woods. I forget who else he beat.
Beat Bo Bartlett soundly.
Bo Bartlett.
So 2 pound for pound wins for Andrew, an undefeated season where you had 2 juggernauts. And I'm certain what happened here is Andrew won NCAAs in 2023 and was ahead of Greg at the end of that year. And Greg goes on and has an undefeated season. And so they just ended up sliding, keeping Alirez ahead of him. Haynes is interesting, but I don't think he doesn't have like a Real Woods type of win, a Real Woods 2023 type of win,
right,
on his ledger. But as I said, to preface that, the beginning of that, I think you could kind of go any order. You could definitely justify any order with those 3. But I think Carter is an irreplaceable number 1 right now.
I think when Levi beat Ja'Cory, they're both Ja'Cory was undefeated at the time.
Ja'Cory lost to Chittum last year soundly.
Was that last year?
Yes.
Chittum's only year he
Chittum's
wrestled.
only season of wrestling.
I don't know. I'm 22 or 23 and 24 blend together in my mind so much.
Levi also
lost in 23.
Ja'Cory lost soundly to Peyton Robb at CKLV. I'm just rattling off the top of my head.
They also shook hands after wrestling for 5th place while line.
They did that.
Or maybe that was Conti semis.
Yeah, I can't recall.
That was 22.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why.
Okay. I forgot that he lost to Chittum.
What were some of the other, I don't know, Spay, you have the internet and a computer.
I got the internet.
Any other main contentions from the people?
Well, there was, I remember somebody replied to you and wanted to know why, we were kind of already covered Messenbrink, right? But it was like O'Toole was too high at number 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, this guy lost, David Carr would be number 2 right now if he were still a college wrestler, and that's the guy that he lost to. He also beat him. He's beaten him multiple times. He's a 2-time NCAA champion. He was undefeated going into that semifinal match, and he dominated for 3rd place. Like the who you lose to matters, right? When you're comparing all these wrestlers, and he has about as good a loss as you can have on this list.
I think some people were mad at Alirez to be number 4, but people just forget how good he was
Yeah.
that season.
And there's a little bit of, it was 1 year for Andrew. Like he had never placed before he won, and then he redshirted last year, and then everyone, whether it factors in or not, everyone watched him at the Olympic trials, and everyone watched him at Beat the Streets, and so our mind is like, we think number 8 Jesse Mendez is probably better than Andrew Alirez, and I don't disagree with that. But you know, it's the NCAA results on the mat that sort of drive this ranking.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why not put, if we're going with like the best win, like the reason that Keegan is up there ahead of a lot of those guys is because
One reason amongst
one reason
others
is I guess he was a 2-time NCAA champ too, but a big
is
reason
only lost to David Carr.
is David Carr. But what I'm saying is, why is there an argument to put Crookham ahead of guys like Levi, Kirkfleet, and Alirez then,
No, because
or even Parker?
no, I mean,
Why?
because Ryan is bolstered to 7 because of the veto wins. That's how he got to 7, but no further. And he got
and not losing to anybody else except Vito.
yeah. All that is baked in and why he's number.
I'm saying if we're talking about like the quality of win, like
Pound for pound,
Ryan
too.
Crookham has beaten a much tougher guy than anyone Levi Haynes has beaten.
Doing it at NCAAs is important too. Like
Okay.
getting it done there.
Being a champ.
Yeah.
And pound for pound also takes into account a little bit more your entire career and doing it for a longer period of time versus the weight, which is more, hey, you beat this guy, you automatically go above him. Or that's not always the case because they might have losses, but it can be a little more reactionary. The weight can be a little bit more reactionary.
If Ryan, I'll say this.
He did it twice though.
If Ryan was an undefeated 133-pound national champion right now, he'd probably be 4th, right behind Parker.
Or if he had lost to Vito first and then beat him twice.
Why not? Why wouldn't he be ahead of Parker?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, Parker is way more dominant. Crookham really does not bonus a lot of.
And Parker has done it
qualifiers.
multiple years. I would have to think about it.
Yeah.
He might be, though. I
I
mean,
mean, Parker beat Trent Hidley. You know, he's got some
Yeah.
really, really good wins. That would be a debate. I just kind of throw that in there. He'd be 3rd or 4th.
another thing people were getting mad at was no Mr. Fast Twitch.
Well, I've said my piece. I will say AJ
He's number 12.
AJ at 12. I think pound for pound, I'm okay with. I think that's more acceptable than where he's placed at 197 behind everyone he's beaten.
Can't believe
or
you're
outplaced.
saying he shouldn't be top 5 or not ranked at all.
It'll all come
Why wouldn't you put him ahead of, like, I feel like he could be
Because
ahead of the
there's
next 3 guys ahead of him.
There's a difference between taking an Olympic red shirt, like what Andrew Alirez did, and being out for multiple years, 2.5 years, with injury and disciplinary reasons.
You say disciplinary. I say he was finding himself. So that's. And what's wrong with discipline?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we discipline our children? Shouldn't we have discipline in our lives? All this negativity about discipline.
Don't you try to be disciplined every day?
Yeah. You don't get this physique without some discipline.
Is that something you
baby.
What I'm
strive for?
saying is he was not on a roster because he could not have the discipline to stay on a roster.
No, he was disciplined enough to know where he needed to be. That's discipline. Maybe he's a good example. I mean,
Because you guys always use the argument like
year-
you have to do the thing, like that helps you a lot. And so I'm like, all right, well, he did the thing.
Yes,
Why isn't he above Mitchell Messenbrink?
because he hasn't wrestled in 2.5 years. You don't get to.
so why is he on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad now.
Because it acknowledges that he did do the thing.
Not really. Not
man.
only partially. It's like
Correct. You don't just get to stay or completely be out. It acknowledges.
Mitchell
That
Messenbrink
he has-
beats Michael Caliendo. He's number 11. AJ Ferrari beats Miles Amin and national champion Nino Bonacorsi, and he's got to prove more.
Yeah, now I'm
Years
mad.
ago.
Like Mitchell
This
needs,
guy said Miles Amin, and it made me mad. This guy beat Miles Amin.
Name one guy that has taken 2.5 years off and come back and been the same guy.
Ted Williams. He served in World War II. How about that? That's tough.
That was a good comeback.
Brock Hardy.
He didn't do it and then come back. He was just gone.
Right.
Yeah, so he was gone. Well, but he was probably good in high school.
Never there.
He was really good in high school.
Yeah.
Took a
A
break.
lot of really good guys in
Took
high
a break. Came back. All American.
Yeah, but that's not what we're.
It's not the same.
That's
Congratulations on playing your role very well on the show.
unfortunately Ted Williams.
He didn't get worse.
You're right. He didn't get worse.
That's what I'm saying.
We have no reason to think that.
That's a good example. I don't care what you say.
That and Ted Williams kind of is the trump card at JD. He's kind of stumped on the Ted Williams thing. No, I mean, I think I don't know. It feels like AJ has a higher burden to prove himself than other people, and I'm not sure I understand that. Other than you can just say he's been gone, and it's not really been 2.5 years.
Stephen Buchanan
Twice.
Stephen Buchanan has All-American twice and taken a red shirt. Like, you don't just get to coast for that amount of time.
Yeah, I like the criteria that matters a lot in pound for pound, which I think you've used to create this list, you and John Kozak, is recent marquee wins. Like the best wins that you have recently count a lot, and that's reflected there. So as someone that was once in your position, I applaud those efforts.
And I get it. Andrew Alira's is number 4, but they're different scenarios because Alira's, it was half the amount of time and it was an Olympic red shirt, not disciplinary getting kicked off the team and being injured.
AJ took an Olympic red shirt too.
Now, I played devil's advocate. How good were they in high school? And then did they take any time off in between high school?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is their right? Did they take a mission?
I mean, he's 29-1, and everyone says 2.5 years, but really it's 2 seasons, right?
AJ also lost to Zach Glazier, just saying.
Yeah. I will play both sides of that. I will call Zach Glazier a soldier salute champion, but then I'm also going to say AJ won that match. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't
Didn't get his hand raised.
He couldn't resist fighting him after the match ended.
And whose hand got raised?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd put him up a little higher. I forgot AJ was undefeated the year he wrecked. Like
10 matches. Also, people forget when he won, he wrestled half a season because it was the COVID year. It was the year after COVID. So like he didn't even have to go a full season undefeated.
He wasn't undefeated. He lost to Noah Adams.
Thank you. And then he wrestled 10 matches before getting in a severe car wreck and injured for the rest of the season.
Yes, that was bad.
Don't forget, he was injured and then he got kicked off the team in the summer.
So now you're punishing people for getting injured.
A little bit.
All right. Okay, well AJ sleeping on AJ continues. There's no argument he has proven far more than Mitchell Messenbrink as a collegiate wrestler.
As a collegiate wrestler 2.5 years ago, correct. But in 2024, 2025, the year of our Lord and Savior, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's a half-life on accomplishments that they decay over time and that you can't.
Right? No Adams still has a year of eligibility. What if he came back?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. Nuh-uh, he does. But he decided not to use it. Bracky was pissed.
No, that was like when Bracky still worked here. He doesn't have it anymore.
I think he does. He opted not to use it.
There are no rules in the NCAA anymore. They have given up. They have thrown up their hands
right.
and they said, "Do you have another year? All right, fine, take it. Whatever." He can just say he was injured every time. Medical red shirt. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Bada boom, bada bing.
All right, let's move off this. We'll go to the next one.
Let's go. Let's stay on the AJ talk.
Okay.
Beautiful transition.
Let's get on that fast train.
He warned Carter Starocci not to come up to 197 pounds, and he did it. He did it with one of the most outrageous videos I have ever seen.
This reminds me of probably what
Let's play this video.
Yeah.
You want the whole video? Hold on. I got to get the whole.
Oh, is this a screenshot?
I did a screenshot. I didn't.
What kind of is that? Some construction equipment? What is that?
It's some sawhorses. It's
Yeah.
Sawhorses.
Yeah.
It's
Hold
gonna
on,
be
let
so
me
flimsy.
pull up Mr. Fast Twitch. Mr.
All right, I go. Never
And
mind.
now,
Sorry, I thought we were gonna show this.
if I didn't already, I need to see Carter Starocci versus AJ Ferrari.
All right,
Yeah, but he does not. He is advising Carter not to come. He says,
Do not come.
Do not come. Carter might be like, I'm gonna come.
I don't think Carter will do that.
Drop steps.
All-Star Classic?
Horses. Boom. He's up. He's up. Half
That would
step.
be crazy. No, wait till the yoga ball comes in. Yoga ball is
next
crazy.
level.
Yo, when
Someone needs to spot those soft.
This is dangerous.
Clap.
All right.
Clap shot.
Yeah. So now here's where,
who did it better,
the
Bo
dri-
Bassett or AJ Ferrari
or Meyer Shapiro.
or Maya Shapiro?
Boom. Went right onto there.
This is the most outrageous part.
Wait, right here.
This is
Yeah, where he
sick.
starts, where he just
Spalls on it.
Got it.
Spalls on it.
Pumps
Shakes
it.
it. Later. Oh man.
Dude, that is sick.
That's pretty sweet looking. You can't lie. So AJ's in mid-season form as far as I can tell.
Starocci might be shaking in his boots right now.
Yeah. But But Carter's not going to go up. But I don't think it'll be because of this recommendation, a safe recommendation from AJ Ferrari, which I'm all for safe recommendations. But yeah, y'all kind of laughed at me when I picked AJ Ferrari to win this tournament in March. But I really think he's gonna. I really think he's gonna do it.
I never laughed at you.
I need to see him wrestle one like elite guy before I predict it. I mean, does this man wrestle or does he just lift weights and shadow wrestle?
He's in a wrestling room. I don't know. Maybe he's keeping. I think he probably wrestles.
I think he probably wrestles.
He could do that exercise anywhere, though. You know.
True. I'm just saying he loves posting, these workout videos and lifting heavy weights. But
What's your favorite hashtag of the hashtags he used here?
Secure the bag.
Mine is hashtag AJ Ferrari.
mine is hashtag portal.
That's an interesting one.
Hashtag faith
He likes
and
the video
works.
game.
Yeah. Hashtag defending.
Reigning and defending. He's not the reigning.
Depends who you ask.
I'm surprised he has not beaten.
All the 197 champs after him are interim. That's probably what he would say, and that's what I'll say that too.
He needs
Aaron
like
Brooks, maybe he would have beat him. We'll never know.
He needs a belt and just go like full like WWE, UFC.
We're probably not far from that, JD.
If you asked me 3 years ago if by now it would be 675-pound deadlift, I would have said, yeah, I bet it will be.
He's going for explosion now. He's already explained this.
Oh, my bad.
665 was the high water mark, and he doesn't need to go another ounce higher. Okay. Now it's about explosion.
Okay.
He proved his
Thank
point.
you for explaining that.
665. Well, it needs explained because I got 670, but you don't hear me talking about it on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it, and then now I'm just
We're
focused.
talking about it on the air right now.
Now I'm just focused on explosion.
Okay.
So there you go. That's AJ Ferrari. JD can't stop reading this.
I like the guy in the background there. That's
You think he types these on his phone? Because just finding all those emojis.
Think of how long it takes him to.
That's
type
what I'm
these out.
saying.
How much time does he spend typing Instagram?
Uses
captions?
AI.
I don't. No way.
I don't think he
AI
does.
could never do this.
Oh, I'd like to build an AI model that's just AJ Ferrari.
I love how he.
all the AJ Ferrari into the model, and then it's like now you can just say, "Give me an AJ Ferrari tweet talking about this."
Also, not one typo in the hashtags.
He's studious. You saw the TikTok where he
I
talks about
bet-
his ACT scores.
I bet in his notes he has all these written out, so then he just has to copy and paste each time. That's what I would do.
That's efficiency.
That's
I
what
love
would
how the title is
do. Time is money.
breaking news with the alarms. We kind of do that sometimes. He's
I like it.
taking right
that all
from
the
the.
Oh well, we didn't take it from us.
No, I know, but it's that's like newsworthy. I don't know what I'm saying.
I like it.
I also respect to Johnny J. Rock Johnson in the background for setting up those sawhorses, and
Those are big.
that took some time to prepare that whole routine.
That does look exhausting. What he's doing.
Do you think we'll ever see those two wrestle each other?
No.
Because Carter at most will be an 86 kilo, and I don't see AJ going down. Maybe he would do 92 kilos. It would be awesome, but
Catch
Would be
weight. Let's make it
beautiful.
happen.
Exhibition.
yeah.
Who says no? All right. Last show, we tiered the 125-pound weight class. So we're moving up to 133 pounds today. I have put out my tiers for 133 pounds. They are...
Spade pull those in.
Oh,
You
the
can pull these
tiers.
in. Yep, from the Doc Showdown. They are as follows. Tier 1, Ryan Crookham.
What did you just say?
Crookham.
What?
Tier 2,
It's Crookham.
Crookham.
I like
I
cooking
like
ham.
Crookham. Crookham is fine. We'll say Crookham.
I like cooking ham. Tier 2, Nasir Bailey.
You're tier 1 islanding Ryan Crookham.
Yes.
Oh, you changed the tiers on us.
Tier 3, Ayala, Ragusan, Frost, Shaver, Orini, Nagao, Bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then tier 4, if we want to get to it, Wells, Vandy, Buzakis, McGonigal, Brown, Phipps.
There's way too much respect being given around here. Let's get into it. So I to give a tier 1 island designation of someone, I think it's maybe the greatest praise that can be heaped upon a wrestler, and it should be utilized rarely in extreme circumstances. I'm just not ready to crown Crookham. I will not say I'm going to be stunned if this guy doesn't. I think I would not be surprised if he lost a match this year.
Okay.
That one's
well, then we have different criteria for a tier 1.
a tier 1 island.
I
Tier 1 island. You island him. You said there's
think
no one in his
losing-
strata.
I think beating Vito Ruja twice and losing to nobody except Vito once, including beating Bailey twice, the number 2 ranked guy, gets you on tier 1 island. I think that is clear separation going into the season. Now, these tiers can change, but going into the season, he has proven by beating the number 2 ranked guy twice and beating Vito Arujau twice that there is separation there.
That was a super close match against Nasir the second time. Almost got turned right at the very end.
But he
Or very
didn't.
close. Nasir, but it could. But this is all about like likelihood and probability and like actual separation. Nasir Bailey lost to Dom Serrano last year. Putting him in a tier 2 island is insane. Away from Ragusan, Drake, all these other guys. Like he should be.
That's when I debated more on.
I think he could be in tier.
But that was his only bad loss.
I know, but that's. I mean,
And all these other guys had multiple bad losses.
Do you think?
I agree.
What if JD put Nasir Bailey in with all those tier 3 guys, and that becomes tier 2, and Ryan Cookrum is still
it
tier 1
felt
island?
disrespectful. Or if I included Nasir with Crookham, that didn't feel right.
I get the trouble that you found yourself in because
Nobody knows my trouble.
no one knows the trouble he's seen. Nobody knows his sorrow. But so Crookham, I get it because if you basically what I'm advocating for is more people with Ryan Crookham. But if you put Nasir Bailey with him and not the other people, then you're kind of ignoring Nasir Bailey's Serrano loss. And then if you start making a giant tier 1 with Ryan, Nasir, Ayala Ragusan, and Java or Frost or whoever, then that's like sort of not putting proper weight on how great Ryan Crookham was. So this is a tough situation.
My original tier 1 was Crookham, Bailey, Ayala. When I first, and then I thought more, and I'm like, no, there's separation there between these guys.
Drake had 4 losses to
Yep.
non-AAs last year.
Off the top of my head, I was like, national finalist.
Yeah.
He's tier 1, moving up. You know, maybe he'll even be better. But then I was like, no, too many regular season losses to be included in the conversation with Ryan Crookham.
Yeah. I just have a lot of. I think Dylan Ragusan is for sure. I think he
Here's my thing
this year
too.
killed him, but I think he's
He
a
didn't
title.
kill him. It was 5-0.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Survived, but he was.
You multiply
he was
that
near
times
death.
3, and that's 15-0.
Yeah,
default.
and we always multiply it by 3. But I'll also say, like, I mean, I think Shaver, Ragusan, crazy high upside. Drake at 133 is interesting, and you know we have Nagao in there, but in my Penn State lineup video, I talked about 133 and like I think it'll be Nagao at the start, but I would not be surprised at all if it's Braden Davis by year's end. And if it is Braden Davis, I think that's a guy that can come in and contend for a title as well.
I heard Nagao
me-
was injured.
He is injured.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Good enough to start.
the degrees of the injury, I don't know, you know?
Maybe they try and go medical and just roll with Braden.
Yeah.
Who knows? But preseason, I view Nagao and Davis kind of about the same level. So I would put Braden Davis
Braden was kind of awesome last year. I know he
3.
DMP'd, but
He lost in the was it the round of 12 or the round of 16?
he lost in the round of 12.
I also count his
lost-
lost to Vinny Kokiri as a loss.
He lost to Figs, and I forget his round of 12. Was it Stanich maybe? Someone like that.
Yeah.
That's someone good. So that should be considered.
Well, where would you draw the line? What would your tiers be?
I think you could put Crookham and Bailey together potentially as a tier, and then I would probably go Ragusan, Drake, Frost, Shaver, Arini, Bird as another one, and maybe not Nagao in there, because I think Nagao is like right now in the Wells, Buzakis who beat him. I mean, the crazy thing is like there's a lot of guys with wins in tiers above them. And Lucas Bird is going to be maybe one of the more interesting additions back into this weight class. His NCAA losses 2 years ago, he redshirted last year. His NCAA losses 2 years ago were to Dayton Fix and Jesse Mendez. Pretty close matches, super close against. I mean, Jesse was.
Well,
like-
Jesse had like 4 or 5.
It was like tiebreaker. So now Lucas is back. Illinois is going to have a very, very good team this year. And I think he's someone that's going to be really tough to contend with. So that's probably how I would do it.
Wait, so who would you put in tier 3? Because you just named guys that you would put in tier 2 out of tier 3. And who would stay in tier 3?
So I'd go Crookham, Bailey kind of together.
Okay.
I think there's separation.
Even though he beat them twice, and beat Vito twice.
I mean, Nasir has a loss, and Crookham doesn't have the separation in his matches either. Like,
It's tight.
that matters, you know.
But he wins.
I know, but when every match is like that, we see how that goes. And
He'll
now
get clipped one of these times.
exactly, I think he's clippable, right? Like Mitchell Messenbrink is a perfect example of a tier 1 island guy. He's like. I really, and watch Mitchell will lose 3 times this year because I'm just saying, I'm being so audaciously optimistic. But I really think he is going to be a runaway freight train all year long. And I don't feel that way about Crookham. I think he's going to be favored to win probably every match he wrestles. But he's
I guess we just disagree on. I did mine more on not guessing or not as much
more
prognostication, but more like,
past results than
Yeah.
future. I look at it like
I think him and Bathe are going to have very close matches, and Crookham could lose one.
he was a true freshman last year. That guy was so good. He slipped on one banana peel with Serrano, but other than that,
And that's why tier 2, I kind of gave him a pass for the slip, Serrano, because all these other guys in tier 3, not all of them, but a lot of them had even more losses.
oh yeah.
Than that, and he only did that once. Now, he didn't wrestle the toughest regular season schedule. I will say that. He definitely didn't have to go through quite a gauntlet as like Ragusin.
I feel like Frost really came into his own last year. Like there's some guys like that were really sort of like finding their form at the end of the year.
Yeah, and
I think that
then
matters.
it's like Nasir beat him 15-0.
That's who he beat 15-0.
Nasir beat Frost 15-0. That's why I'm like, there's a little bit of separation for Nasir to be tier 2 island. Now, I also think that was Frost in December, and he was a little bit of a different guy.
Yeah, he
in
was
March.
so different.
But that's where I still took.
There's so this weight.
I want to hear again because you said you put Crookham and Bailey in tier 1 together. Who stays in tier 3 and who gets bumped up?
I took out Nagao, and I left Bird in there with the rest.
So only Nagao stays tier 3 and all the other ones are tier 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're putting Nagao with
Vandy and
Vandy,
Bouzakis,
Bouzakis.
Connor McGoggle. All these guys have great wins. Bouzakis, I mean, Wells was sort of random at the end of the year, but he had really fine postseason. So it's going to be interesting. This weight is going to be a lot crazier than I think people realize. I think this weight's going to be nuts.
Are you guys ready for Ayala to just jump right in that tier with those guys?
I think he will.
those guys. Yeah.
He had some tough losses last year.
So did all,
those guys.
And I like the bump up. I mean, that Brandon Kaler loss, you could tell me that's not a weight cut loss. I mean, that was the most sucked out we ever saw Drake look in a match. And he said some weird stuff, like he couldn't beat D'Agostino. It was weird. I think Drake's gonna be fine. I think Drake's year at 125 is really similar to a lot of years these guys had at 133. Actually, even more dramatic for some of them. So yeah, I think I have a high opinion of Drake coming in at 133.
You could even, for me, almost separate a little bit, like Ayala, Ragusin, Frost, Shaver, Bird, and then Arini, Nagao.
Yeah, it feels like Arini is maybe not going to jump into that next. Like he's been 8th twice.
Didn't Arini beat Frost at CKLV?
I think so. Arini beat a lot of people.
Yeah.
But Frost's a freshman.
Yeah.
Like we said, he kind of came into his own in March. But
yeah.
So if you're going more on just vibes and how you think they're going to do this year.
Arini sticks his tongue out and looks cool.
He does.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That's an undeniable cool thing that he does.
And he did have one close match with Aiden Fix that a lot of people like to cite.
Who?
At NCAA's 2
Ty?
years ago.
Yeah. That was,
Man, I was here ready to, because at first I thought the tiers looked a little different before the show started. So I was about to ride or die for some people, but
You're about to ride or die for Ragusin and
Yes.
Kyle Rini, who you did a shoot.
but
Not very hard to figure out.
whatever, dude. But
Put Marlon Yarbrough.
well, because I was like, man, Dylan had such a close match with Dayton Fix last year, but Dayton had close matches with everyone at NCAA's last
he had
year.
a close match with Buzakis.
Remember that was
Buzakis took him down.
that was the big talk.
5-4.
Like, what's going on with Dayton?
And I think he had a 2-1 match with Frost, and then he had a 3-2 match with Dylan.
the Frost match.
I rewatched. So I basically I went to the NCAA coverage page and just watched every 133 match that we uploaded. The worst stalemate, I'll say it, in NCAA wrestling history was called in the Dayton Fix Evan Frost match. That gave us the iconic Kevin Dresser quote, Angel Rivera is the worst ref. He said you could quote that. But it's like there's like 11 seconds left in sudden victory, 1 or 2, I think 2. And Frost is in on a single leg, draped, and Dayton is jumped over the top, double ankles, and Frost is kind of like shimmying down and working. And like, was he going to finish? I'm not sure. But stopping that action with 10 seconds left, there is no reason to stalemate that. It wasn't stuck because you know how sometimes they'll get to the drape and then you can tell both guys are not progressing. Evan was working. If the offensive guy is working to score, you can't blow your whistle there. We just had a ref here yesterday, and he said be nice to him, and now here I go. But I rewatched it, and I just got angry. I was like, didn't they mess that up? And I rewatched it. I was like, oh my gosh, what a horrible stalemate call. And I'm not saying he would have finished it. I'm saying,
Yeah, why do it?
wow, what a mistake.
wow.
Okay, this is actually what I wanted to argue about, though. Like, how are we going to put Drake Isle at number 3 at 133?
Because he was a national finalist.
Oh, it's because he's over Ragusin.
Yes.
This is
what I
found the
wanted to
root of
argue
the
about.
Contention here.
Because originally, tier 1 was Crookham, Bailey, and Ayala.
Like I said that on the show. Yeah, that was my initial thought. And then I went, oh, Drake didn't have, a solid regular season.
Here's how I
Similar
would do
to
the tier.
Dylan Ragusin.
Tier 1 on an island, Ryan Crookham. Tier 2 on an island, Nasir Bailey. Tier 3 on an island, Drake Isle. Tier 4 on an island, Dylan Ragusin.
Yeah.
I kind of love it.
Tier 5 on an island, Evan Frost. That's the easy.
I'm not ready to put. In my head, I feel like not ready to put Ayala over Ragson or Frost.
Who were Ragson's losses last year?
He lost.
Him, CP.
He got tech by Shaver. He lost to
Tech dog.
He lost to Bailey, Fix, Shaver. He has one other loss.
Jacob Van
D.
Compare that to Ayala's losses. Taylor
Here's what I'll say. Kaler.
lost to D'Agostino twice. I think there's one more in there.
There was. Matt Ramos.
At a lower weight.
Matt Ramos. I don't care about that.
you do.
Here's what I'll say. Well, 125 was not as good a weight as 130.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I will also say is, like, I feel like their years were pretty comparable. Now, you could say comparable year.
You lean the guy who did it at the weight.
You did it at the
yeah.
You could also say comparable seasons. You lean to the guy that made the NCAA finals.
Well, one of them, yeah, but look at the weight.
The weights are so different.
Had Dayton Fix, Vito Rujau, and Ryan Crookham.
Like, I went back and checked, and like
Nisio.
in January, Drake was ranked like 17th at 125.
Then he finished the year ranked number 2.
Bro, I'm gonna do a 125 video, and I was looking at like all the I think we had 8 different number 1s last year, and there were years or you would have Anthony Noto number 1, and then I looked like 2 rankings later, and he was like 23rd. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
Hey, the father is in the chat, and he says Ragusin lost to Jacob Van D. No disrespect.
Yeah,
to
we
Jacob
said
Van
that.
D.
That was mentioned. I mean, that's comparable to a Brendan Kaler loss. Jacob Van D.
Kaler's an All-American.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about ancient history.
Yeah,
The course is current
That was a
events.
different Kaler, the All-American.
They're very similar. Ragson doesn't have like a signature win either. And I know Drake doesn't have a marquee win either, but
He beat Braden Davis. He beat Spratley DMP'd, and that was his quarterfinal opponent, and he beat Eric Barnett. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you could have easily gone Ragusin over. I don't see why a Jacob Van D loss hurts that much more than a loss to Kaler
that's why he's still number 4.
And Michael twice.
Michael twice. Yeah, well, it can be debated till the end of time. They are in the same conference. Do they duel?
Actually, I don't know.
It came out with Big Ten schedule.
Dylan's got a lot of
week ago.
horsepower.
I don't have my phone on me, so I can't check.
Wow.
What are we looking at? Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan schedule.
Go to their social media because they came out with Big Ten schedule graphics, but I doubt their full schedules are updated on their website.
Yeah.
While Space looking that up, we're going to get to our Bo Bachelor update.
Yeah. Tell him why we call him that, because that's just sort of more of an internal terminology, I believe.
Because he's basically doing his recruiting process like The Bachelor, where he just eliminates several people every week, gives out a bunch of roses to the teams that have still made it.
Now, I want to give a shout out. I forget who she said this to, but we got a great suggestion from another Flow Sports staffer that Bo needs to start re-adding teams, taking some off. Like, 1 week, take off Penn State and Iowa, and then bring them back 2 weeks later.
The drama.
That would add. So that's free advice from Flow Sports personnel.
Might I add that understandably, there's some people that aren't into the whole process that Bo is doing, and they think he should, not draw it out every week or whatever. But this is drawing in the most casual of casual sports fans. These are just NCAA random fans. They're like, Florida State football fans, and they're like, oh, this is great. I love every week I get a little update, and this is my peek into the world of NCAA wrestling.
Yeah,
and they're fans of it. So everybody just pump the brakes on the outrage.
What could be the possible harm of this?
Yeah.
Like
People are so mad. Some people get so mad about it.
I know.
And it's like maybe you might think like, oh, that's annoying or whatever. Like, I don't think that, but like maybe some people are thinking that. But like to hop on Twitter and to like berate a 17-year-old kid and be like, I saw someone say you need Jesus, which is a hilarious thing to say to Bo Bachelor.
You would probably be like, I
almost
agree.
called him Bo Bachelor to Bo Bassett, who like is constantly wearing a shirt that says Jesus on it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. People get really mad over stuff that is not worth getting mad about.
I love that he's doing it. I think it's great. It's just gonna be funny when, like, at the end of it all, his final three is like Penn State, Iowa, and Oklahoma State. Like, which was like very.
We are starting to
Ohio State, I think.
And Michigan.
We are starting to get to like some like Power
getting
4
there.
schools getting clipped.
UPJ's hanging around. I don't know.
Hanging around.
North Carolina, and Wisconsin got the
And
shop
American.
and American.
Yeah.
Eliminated 4?
Who's the?
American, North Carolina, Wisconsin. We're gone
I
this
don't know.
week.
I don't know why I thought you said 3 and then you added American. Doesn't matter.
It was just 3. It was 3.
Okay.
We're down to 20.
Thank you.
Yep. So now even 20. So yeah, he's making his
The Air Force still holding on for the troops too.
Sweet.
I wonder if he will eventually start eliminating less schools, because originally he was eliminating like 7, right? And then
He's
he
already
switched it
started
to 3.
eliminating less.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying is like when is it gonna eventually switch from 3 to 2? Or
It's gonna
3 to
stink
1?
when he starts doing it one at a time. It's like we lost Lehigh. All right, so there it is. There's the graphic for you, so you can check that out.
Also, Bo Bassett in the news recently. A photo from U20 Worlds came out, and he's hanging out with all the Penn State crew over there at U20 Worlds. Do you put any stock in this as a potential bump for PSU landing Bo Bassett?
I mean, they're already very high on the list, if not
Obviously.
towards the top. I don't put a ton of stock in it, but it is a good experience for, these guys go on these trips for like a week at a time. They go all these camps together. So that can have an impression. You listen to Ben talk about, why he went to Missouri, because he found a friend group that he thought he could really, vibe and get along with, et cetera. So those relationships, they're not insignificant. They matter. Do I think it's going to be a deciding factor? No, I don't think so. But I mean, it's certainly positive momentum if he gets along with these guys. I mean, it's just a picture. He could have just been like at the same cafe.
Well, you got to assume that he's training with these guys at the Penn State RTC practices like ahead of this competition as well. So like these are guys that he probably interacts with and is around.
I think he wrestles with Cole Mirasola frequently.
Well, maybe not training directly with them, but training adjacent to them.
Part of the machine gun mindset.
Because they do go to the Penn State RTC practices.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, Penn State ultimately is going to be one of the final schools that Bo is selecting against, and yeah, there's no reason to think they're not going to be in that mix.
Also on Penn State, you recently came out with a lineup video.
Yeah.
But you're going back on your 174.
I have another thought. It's so I was on Facebook like an old guy, but I saw, I had posted
Everybody goes to get their good information.
That's where I get all my information. Yes. But someone had tagged me and said a good video and then wondered, it's not this, it's in Facebook, but, so don't pull that up, but was like, why did you not include Zach Ryder at 174? And in my mind, I reflexively was like, Zach Ryder's not going to wrestle this year. And then I thought about it a little bit more. And he was talking about how I had talked about Gabe Arnold. He's going to have a really good year. And of course, Zach Ryder has beaten Gabe Arnold multiple times. And my thought is, well, obviously you would redshirt Zach Ryder. But then you think about it. If Zach Ryder is the best guy at 174, which I don't know that you could say he is or isn't at this point. Could he beat Alex Facundo? Maybe. Could he beat Levi Haines? Feels like a stretch, but we know he's the right size for the weight. But my broader point, and the one that I concluded after reading this person's comment, is if Zach should not be like redshirting so he can start next year, because next year it's going to be the same set of problems. So if he is the best guy, Ryder should actually be considered more of a factor than maybe I had considered coming into it, because if he's the best guy, he will go. I guess so now, whereas I thought even if he was, we shouldn't consider him. But if we think Gabe Arnold can, and maybe that's not a stretch you should make, those freestyle wins. But the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, man, Zach Ryder, this is a guy who beaten the Solas. He beat Aiden St. Clair. He's beaten Gabe Arnold. Like, these are guys that are in high school.
Beat Rocco Welsh in high school.
Beat Rocco Welsh. So the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, man, maybe Ryder does give it a shot. Maybe he starts some matches and gets an opportunity. And because in my mind, it's like, no, Ryder will redshirt. But now when you think about it, like, he should be vying for that spot year one, because next year he's going to be in the same scenario. So I'm not going back on my prediction that Alex Facundo will be the guy, or at least given that first opportunity. But I am where I was thinking it'll be Facundo and Levi Haines redshirts. Now I'm like, man, maybe it's more wide open than that, because you can't just count on redshirting and starting the next year at Penn State, not in that weight range. And you look at Zach Ryder, this is a guy who's physically mature. He's not one of these true freshmen that's got to grow into the weight or get the physicality. This guy is D1 physical, D1 ready in that way. So I don't think he has that much to make up in that regard. So I'm thinking a little bit more about Ryder than I was 24 hours ago, thanks to that Facebook commenter. So thanks for that. And I got a lot of pushback on about Facundo yesterday, because I was very strongly suggesting that he could be the guy and that he might be better than Levi Haines. And certainly I'm not a guy that will overreact to freestyle results, and I'm not basing it entirely on that. But I went back and rewatched that match, and it was 2 takedowns to none. Levi was not really close to scoring at any point in time. It was a 6-0 final. There was kind of I will say this, though, if you go back and rewatch the match, I was really surprised. So it went shot clock, point for Facundo, and then they put Haines on the clock again, when I really felt like Haines was controlling center and like had earned, because no one had scored. And I had felt like, all right, probably should be Facundo's turn, but they put Haines back on the clock again. Haines got really frazzled. You could tell he was like very demonstrative against that call. And then next thing you know, it's 6-0 and he loses. So you can for sure see a scenario where Levi wins that match, but it is a data point. And the 2 takedowns he scored had 100% folk style applicability. It wasn't like counter scoring and head pinches and things like that. It was a low single out the back door finish, and he ghosted him on a duck under and finished. That's all in line with things that can happen in a folk style match. And then for Levi, he does have the red shirt. And is he big enough for 74 right now? We know he outgrew 157, but is he a full size 174? But then, and here brings me back to Ryder. Is Alex Facundo a full size 174? Because he's wrestled at 74 kilograms, 163 pounds, wrestled at 165, and was not known for his physicality. So is he ready to go up a weight class? And we know Zach Ryder is 174 pounds, physical guy. So just had my mind around it. And all three, Penn State's kind of mantra is every guy thinks they're going to be the guy throughout the year. So I don't know. And also it feels like at Penn State, those guys don't want to redshirt as often, right? Like Braden Davis didn't want to year one. Rumors are
Because if you have an opportunity to crack the lineup at Penn State, you have to take it.
that's true too. But yeah, true. Braden didn't, but Levi reportedly may not want to redshirt, may want to go all 4 straight through. So yeah, that's my thoughts on 174. I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I would say smoke him if you got him. Let the best guy go.
Yeah, it's gonna be fascinating.
I mean, I think, who knows if Levi actually is bumping up to 74 and like his main goal all offseason has been to become a full size 74, he might be the best guy. But I mean, you look at what Rocco Welsh did as a true freshman at 174 last year.
Yeah.
Zach Ryder is of very similar caliber, and I think that he could do very similar things. So he's definitely not a bad choice, and I wouldn't be shocked if that's who they went with.
We got a question from FRL's the best. Can Levi not be Messenbrink? Levi cut to 157 last year when it was clearly a tough cut, and now he might go up to 174. Why wouldn't he want to wrestle off for 165?
So I think if you want to go back to last year for Levi, he was the returning number 1 after the guy that won, Austin O'Connor, graduated. That's his opportunity. He's not a national champion. It's like, this is my weight. I can be the national champion here. You go up to 165, and you've got to beat out potentially Mitchell, but also you have Keegan O'Toole and David Carr. Like, that was his path to a title, and I think that's what last year was about. Now we'll see. Now that he seems like he doesn't want to cut that weight anymore, or like that's now prohibitive. So now it's different. Can he beat Mitchell Messenbrink? I have no idea. I would probably pick Mitchell in that, but there's a chance Levi can get on top and just really slow the match down. Kind of almost how we saw Carr do it, right? He rode him for a long time. You kind of shorten the match against Mitchell. You don't want this dude sprinting at you for 7 minutes. You got to hold him down for a little bit.
Didn't Mitchell beat Levi to make the U20 team last year?
I guess in 2023.
It was last year's team.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think he also beat him in 2022.
Who did? Mitchell beat him then too?
Yeah. He double-A'd him in the table, I think.
So then it feels like Levi can't beat Mitchell, right?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
No. Mitchell beat him.
I said Levi can't beat Mitchell is what I'm saying.
Oh, I wouldn't say can't.
Well, not can't, but like it feels like
Never.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, you
Like-
mean never?
like that's why he's not going 65
Yeah.
or trying to.
Possibly. And like once
You're saying Levi is very scared of Mitchell, and he will
No,
never beat him.
stop
I don't know
that.
why you would say that, because like the dude's a national champion. Like, what did you do, bro?
You got to quit this.
Wow, keyboard junkie, another keyboard warrior.
Wow, we're just giving everybody microphones nowadays.
Anymore?
We have to stop selling podcast equipment.
What was that? I saw that. I saw a.
It's not like a one thing. It's just people say it all the time.
I saw a meme. Okay, I thought you sent it to me. Maybe it was my wife.
Everybody has the joke is everybody has a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen that. I've only seen it once, and then I thought you sent it to me, but I guess you didn't. But yeah, there's someone has a.
That was so funny. What was that?
Never mind. Keep it moving.
Hey, we could lose another solid USA heavyweight to football.
This is ridiculous.
Mason Parris, your boy, Michigan man, Mason Parris, working out for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
It's so funny to use a picture of Geno celebrating for this article.
Yeah, bring Geno to the Bengals. What are you doing, Mason?
Cincy Jungle you're talking about.
I know. I also thought it was funny. That's why I put that screenshot in there.
Yeah, we need to edit Zari's crown onto Geno's head for it to be a more accurate photograph. Yeah, I don't like this, not one bit.
Me neither.
I'm all against people pursuing dreams outside of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You should pursue the dream I like.
Yes.
That's pretty normal.
Also,
thing.
stop working out. Just don't work out for anyone.
This is
So
a man with a history in football, too. This
Yeah, I
is
know.
not Gable. This is a little more serious.
So I've heard that Mason is interested in football. Obviously he is if he's doing this. But it was my mind's like thought process that maybe he would be doing it a little later. Especially because like right after he lost at the Olympics, he was putting out posts like saying, "I'll be back." So
As a football player.
I think he meant as a wrestler.
Terminator.
So I don't know if this means. I don't know what this means, to be honest with you. I hope. I don't think it's like definitive. Like Mason's done with wrestling. But
Maybe
It's good that we have Tyler to weigh in and give us that insight on Michigan wrestling. He gives us a peek behind the curtain. Doesn't it feel like that, Spay?
yeah, that's why he's playing his role once again as our young.
look, man, it's easier for you to give insights because you don't have personal relationships like with.
Yeah, I don't have personal relationships.
You don't have any personal relationships, and no one ever gets mad at you when you say things.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay, so Mason quit football. You quit once, quit this time even harder.
We helped Mason. We helped steer him into wrestling when he was in high school, getting offers from all the different MAC schools, a full ride to go play football in college. Football is the best team sport, so I don't blame him for at least exploring that. But then the Flow Wrestling specifically helped steer him, and you confirmed that, Tyler. That's facts, correct?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
him into wrestling.
well, this is what happened. Spay, when Mason won world bronze, he said he sent me a video that him and Mike Mal did about the title of the video was Mason Parris, please don't quit wrestling, or something like that. And Spay said, send this to Mason and ask him if it helped, if this is the reason why he wrestled in college. And I sent it to Mason, and Mason said,
Yes.
it didn't hurt.
He said yes. He said
So
absolutely.
I screenshotted that and sent it to Spay, and Spay is taking that and running with it.
great American victory. So yeah, you think about our depth. We lose him. He was kind of separated from the field. I mean, he won his trials 2 out of 3 pretty easily over Zilmer, who won the mini tournament. So we already lost Gable, who won the Olympics, and now lose a world bronze medalist to the gridiron.
I don't think we've lost him yet.
I'm counting.
Everyone relax. Everyone calm down.
He needs to come. He needs to do a workout somewhere else.
He
Not
said
for
he'd
football.
come back. He said he'd be back.
You have until Monday to get us more insight on this.
Adam Kuhn
Here's
came
the
back.
difference. When you get information, it's from an insider that leaks it to you. When I get information, it's from someone that says, "Don't tell anyone this," but here's the information. So I can't just run to a podcast and say things.
All right, why don't you just have them talk to me, and I will put it out there.
Okay.
Very simple.
We need to put a stop to all workouts until we figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, we gotta,
Ceasing workouts.
yeah, we're gonna have to put a full stop on that.
Do you want to talk about this headline?
the rip from the headlines, and I figured Spay would have a great, interesting. So it's a very good take on this. So this is not related to wrestling, but it seems like binge drinking not cool anymore among 18 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah. I mean, the headline is backwards. What it is the kids aren't cool anymore. Nothing changed about binge drinking. What changed is the children. It's not, is it me? Am I out of touch? No, it's the kids. The children are wrong.
Yeah, they're just popping zins.
So
That's not good behavior.
you want to talk about this on the show so Spay could just lay into me and JD, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't fit this demographic. We're not.
Yeah, you guys binge drink. We had to hear Tyler.
Oh, I said we're not 18 to 25.
I'm 26, dog.
Whatever.
I can rent cars now. I'm not on my parents' insurance anymore.
that was weird.
I'm not on any insurance right now.
Why is that? Are you really?
Because
You have a compromised liver or something.
I need.
What is
That's
it?
true.
You have a compromised liver. And
Well,
no
when I had mono, it was compromised.
just so to switch it to me real quick, we have great insurance here. This
Open
Nimrod-
enrollment is in November.
but I'm pretty sure there's like extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, I could probably hit up HR.
Yeah.
All right.
Just think about
I'm
it.
just
No, as someone who didn't switch when they were 26, you cannot just hit them up and be like, "Hey, I forgot," and they will give you
So I
insurance.
have to wait till open enrollment. There you go.
All right, so
I'll
you
just
gotta
stay
hang on
super
till-
healthy until then.
Let's hope so. But we had to listen to you bellyache on FRL every week when you couldn't.
my
couldn't
liver.
Drink. I have my liver numbers are low.
First of all, I never want to talk about it. You are the one who started the Tyler's liver segment.
I don't recall that. I'm hearing this for the first time, but it came up. I thought very organically.
You what is it called? The acronym where you can't HIPAA. You violated my HIPAA.
No, I'm not your medical provider. I can just say whatever I want.
I don't have a medical provider.
This is good though. Binge drinking being down is actually a good thing.
Now, is that just what they self-report? I mean, when someone goes like, "Hey, how often have you been binge drinking?" Oh, I don't. That's not me.
Yeah, who even knows what SAMHSA NSDUH Statista
This is where
means?
I get my information.
Yeah, it's because alcohol is so expensive these days.
No, it's not.
I'll be getting
You
wasted.
know how many
if it
Bush
was
Lights you
cheaper.
can get for 24 Bush Lights for like $9?
It's a little more than that, but
A little more than that.
in the past month. Maybe he just caught everybody in what do they do now? Like dry January. So maybe that's just when they
That's true.
They survey him.
They caught a bunch of people while they had mono.
Yeah, everyone
They
had
couldn't drink.
mono's on the rise. Ladies had a rough 2014, 15. Look at that jump. What happened?
Yeah, that's why you can't trust these numbers. This is bogus.
All right, we're throwing this out.
You get this on Facebook too, the fake news.
Oh yeah, fake
Facebook?
news media.
This was on Twitter, so that's how you know it's 100% true.
The failing New York Times give you this information.
It's possible.
Well,
I literally screenshot it and just put it in the doc. I have no idea if it's true.
It's implied that everybody is just smoking marijuana instead of drinking.
This is all. Yeah, the reverse
is big
curve
weed.
is.
Yeah.
I prefer
Big
hard
Weed
drugs.
put this out.
Yeah, this is more.
Big weed.
This makes me worry about fentanyl.
Big weed.
Yeah.
All right.
Next, is it question time?
It's questions from friends time.
Okay.
Can
thanks.
we just get a little blast from the past from as much as 30 minutes ago? Michigan is not wrestling.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Get them on.
They're
Get
wrestling
it,
Penn State.
okay. Get it on the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
First question from the real Avery Lynch. Best projected college back half next year, Iowa or Penn State?
Iowa or Penn State?
It's 165 to 285.
Penn State.
Let's list Iowa's first.
65. Caliendo.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Brands. Buchanan. Kirkfleet.
Nope.
Keeter.
Keeter.
Keeter. Keatfleet. Got it. And then for Penn State, it's Mitchell. Facundo Haynes. Ryder, yes. Starocci. Barr, Cochran, Mirasola, Kirkfleet.
Penn State.
I think it's Penn State, probably 3-2.
Yeah.
So
You say
Mitchell,
Iowa could win 2 of those probably.
Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
Carter, Greg are kind of indisputable wins.
Yeah.
And I think 74 is probably toss-up territory, depending on who they put out there. I mean, Gabe Arnold versus Alex Facundo. Let's just start that in sudden victory 1. They're not gonna shoot. So
When you think about NCAA points, those are 3 heavy favorites, not just to beat Iowa, but to win NCAA titles.
exactly. So that's a better back half.
Yeah.
All right.
Back that half up.
Next one from Dark Killer 175.
Very chill handle.
Did the U20 Greco team overperform this year? They are bringing home 2 silver and 1 bronze. It's the most medals since 2019, I believe.
I don't know. How would I know that? I'm glad they did. I think it's good. It's definitely a performance that is rare for us in Greco.
Yeah, it was
Great.
good performance. I don't know about overperforming. We always bring home like 1 or 2 medals, I feel like, at age level Greco World Championships.
U20s too? Did we get any U20 medals last year? I think Aiden Addo.
There's no
maybe?
way to know.
Yeah.
There's no way to know for sure.
Yeah, Addo's won a couple, I feel like.
He's had 2
U17
U20
and
bronzes.
maybe U20.
He did U20 bronze his first year at U20. Placed top 10, didn't miss the podium, and then bronze again.
Yeah, suck it, Tyler.
That's pretty
All right.
We place every year now.
Biggest sleeper or most underrated guy coming into the college season? From the from
Oh,
Slink
man.
on Twitter.
I kind of wish I'd read that one ahead of time. Biggest sleeper. I mean, honestly, based on y'all's response, I think Facundo, a really big sleeper. But everyone knows
He's such
him.
a big name, though.
Such a big name. He needs to be shorter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, you give one.
Give me Bo Montanona. Boom.
Okay.
Oh man.
I mean, I think Lucas
Big event if
Bird's
he
super.
performs really well.
I think Lucas is super under the radar. Lucas Bird, that is.
Man, he's a guy who could potentially win it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like outside shot.
He's kind of good from everywhere. Oh, who else? There's a lot of guys. Let's move on.
Okay.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah, give me a minute to think about it.
From Weston Barrel, talk about the history of U20 world champs at 74 kg and their success next year at the NCAAs. Does D. Lockett win worlds this year and NCAAs next year? Then he said, Tyler needs to learn this one too.
Well,
Yes.
I think we'll all learn that D. Lockett is going to be in high school next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to make it hard for him to win NCAAs.
I didn't need to learn that. I knew that.
You knew that. So
Yeah, everyone's talking about holding back. What if he bumps, graduates early?
I want to see that at some point. It happens in other sports. D is going to have his hands full at 74. I do think he can do it. it's going to be really difficult. We are really good at 74 kilograms historically. Going back to junior level, Mark Hall, Mekhi Lewis, Mitchell, David Carr, Keegan O'Toole. I think that's all our junior world champs at 74. There may be another one in there. If so, I apologize. I think D can do it, but I believe he's a first-year junior, right?
Yeah.
And this
Kozak was running the numbers. This is one of the youngest teams that he could find. And there are like 6 guys that are in their first year and only 2 guys that are turning 20 this year.
That's unreal. That is, I mean, it shows how good that class is, which we knew from back in their cadet days. Like, this is a pretty special group. And I don't know. I mean, he can definitely win, but if he just gets a medal or even DNPs, I don't think it's like
Did the Russian second
shocking.
round?
It won't. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Russia's second round. I mean, starting with Kyrgyzstan is they're coming on. So it's a quite a draw for him. It'll be difficult. And this is a monster bracket, but I really believe D Lockett is going to be a superstar collegiately. He will be an NCAA champion throughout his career, perhaps multiple times. I have no hesitation in saying that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
You think so?
Guarantee it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no.
You're really high on him, yeah.
All right.
I think he's
Somebody clip this out, bookmark it.
bookmark it for 4 or 5 years from now. Yeah, I think he'll be an NCAA champion. I think he's next level guy. I think he's gonna be an upper weight, 84, 97, probably by the time he's done growing, at least 74, 84. Yeah, those guys. He's only gonna get better.
Kozak says if D Lockett gets by the Russian, he makes the finals.
Okay.
We should mention, men's freestyle
Oh yeah, thank you.
is about to start. Brackets just came out right before the show. We have kind of you can see those on www.flowwrestling.org. So
You guys want to see Jasmine Robinson make the finals?
Kozak's
Yes.
elated about
Bobby.
our draws. He's very excited.
He loves Bo Bassett's draw.
He loves Bo Bassett's draw. He likes Zach Ryder's draw a lot. So we're feeling pretty good.
You wanna-
Jasmine Robinson, of course, made the semis,
Check this out.
and it's happening.
Well,
Happened.
Hold on, it's not
happened.
on screen.
Like,
Can we pull it on screen?
Yeah, there it is.
There we
Yeah,
go.
this is the final. She's up 4-0. She already blast doubled. And
Oh, too easy.
yeah, night. Call the fall. He wants to do it,
He wants to.
and now he
Needs
gets.
permission.
Now he gets to.
He needs the guy with the worst view to confirm the fall.
I hate that.
That's what we need.
Yep, there she goes. Jasmine Robinson. She's going to be in the Army World Class Athlete Program. Now she is in the
Texan.
She is a Texan, yes, from Allen. Same place as AJ Ferrari.
Well, he's kind of from all over. But yeah, he was there for a time.
I mean, graduated there.
True. He did.
So what do you think though
Wait, didn't I not?
about the U20 World Champs at 74 and their success at NCAAs? Did you finish your thought on that?
Oh,
predicted D not to win the very next year, obviously, but
Yeah, I
down the
don't-
road.
I don't think he can win NCAAs and in high school, but I think he will. And yeah, we've been really good there. Just the names I rattled off.
All right. Dominic Montano said, "What are the non-conference duels you guys want to happen the most?"
Penn State, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I want that very badly.
Iowa State, Iowa.
Yeah, that will happen.
That will happen.
Iowa, Oklahoma State will happen.
It's not a conference.
The Corn Bowl. We get it.
Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series.
I want to go to
Happens
that.
every year.
Is that what it's okay?
Cyhawk.
It is what it is called. It is sponsored by Iowa Corn.
What are some others?
Yes.
Oh, I got another one. UNI versus Penn State, for obvious reasons.
UNI versus Iowa for
South
obvious
Dak-
reasons.
South Dakota State versus Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah, UNI and Iowa. I wish they dueled, but they don't. Yeah, I don't. Doesn't matter.
They
Why.
got a history.
Yeah.
How about CSUB versus, I don't know, anybody?
Ooh, yeah. Iowa. Which is juicier, Iowa, Oklahoma State? Probably Iowa.
I think Iowa.
It's Iowa.
He did leave with the splits double birds. It was his last.
Yeah.
Or South Dakota State, so we get the Glazier rematch.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, that feels more likely.
Oh, I wonder if
Coach Hahn.
I gotta look up the schedules. but,
Damien's got a squad.
I think both of their schedules are
My
out.
gosh. Yeah, it's out. They always have a very, very challenging schedule. So they added not only the Seabricks, but also Drake Rhodes, tough guy, would probably be their 65-pounder, Zach Glazier. So they had 4 transfers from Iowa to round out a team that returned 3 All-Americans. So they're gonna be
4. Oh, sorry, never mind. Forget it.
so they had 4 last year and they have 3 returning. So they're gonna be pretty freaking good.
CKLV. I think CSUB usually goes to that, and SDSU is also
my
going.
God.
We could have AJ Ferrari at CKLV.
For Zach Glazier.
December 6th and 7th.
We need it. We need it.
Speaking on AJ,
Oklahoma State also goes to CKLV as of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say they did it once.
So according to the Cliff Keen CKLVwrestle.com participating teams, CSUB is on there. So Bakersfield and South Dakota State.
What about Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State is also there.
Woo. What do you guys think, boys? Vegas trip?
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas ain't ready. Just kidding.
Also, Nick Stemmet will be there. Stanford.
Shout out to the
a
go.
real rematch we really need.
Fell into my trap.
That guy's awesome.
We did get a question that we haven't answered. Would anybody predict AJ Ferrari over Carter Starocci?
Man,
They did some weird 5-match series and different.
I think it'd be a pretty boring match, honestly. Carter, I feel like Carter finds a way there, but AJ's big.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Size
That'd be a lot to overcome.
If it's at 197,
You think AJ's going to win 197 this year?
bro, because okay, here's my thoughts on this. Carter's going 184, we think, and so his focus hasn't been on getting big. If his focus since the Olympic trials was on becoming a 197 pounder,
right.
I'd put my money on Carter all day.
I need to know his deadlift numbers, and I need to see a video of him working out with a medicine ball.
Well, I want the
Yoga.
sawhorses.
Yoga
I want you do a push-up, and then you clap push-up, and then up on the sawhorses, and then back down, and then a shot, and then a clap shot.
Yeah, Penn State's got all the fancy cold plunge and the sauna, but where's the blue collar? Where's the sawhorses?
Yeah, 4 sawhorses total.
Yeah, where's Coach Johnny J, or what's his name?
J-Rock?
J-Rock.
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 Like if now Carter's gonna go 184, but All-Star Classic, all of a sudden it's 197, Carter versus AJ. Who'd you pick?
Like this in November?
I will probably.
November, but Carter's still going to go 84 after that match.
I'd probably still pick Carter, just because.
Carter.
I don't know, just what I believe.
Okay.
Next question.
This is the last question.
What time is it?
What time is it?
11:24.
11:24. Wow,
Close.
we're getting off early.
What is your We kind of talked about this last show, but I don't know if you gave a definitive prediction. What's your prediction if Sajalayev and Taylor meet at 92 kilos?
I really feel like I would need to see David wrestle before I would get into that.
You would see him at
I know.
trials.
I know. I have to know what he looks like because the last time I saw him
The
wrestle,
gun is to your head.
he couldn't score on Aaron Brooks, and now I'm supposed to
Bang.
see. Here's what I want
Bang.
to happen.
Bang,
Not
bang,
dead.
bang, bang.
People deserve rationale.
Tyler's just
Shock
bloodthirsty.
jock.
Question.
They didn't ask for
question is,
rationale.
what's
They
your
asked for a
prediction?
winner.
Right now, based on all available evidence, I would pick Sajalayev.
Yeah.
All right, kill him anyway, Tyler.
Daddy Cakes would be my pick.
But I want to see it. Listen, here's what I want. I need to see David Taylor steamroll his way through World Team Trials. That will be all I need, and I will quickly and happily revert back.
You'll predict David Taylor.
Yeah, probably. I'll just be riding too high because sometimes the vibes can overtake me, and that's just what's going to happen, and that's who I'll pick. So I don't feel bad about that. Hey, I think Ben Askren's going to come back on the show next week at some point. He's got a book he wants to promote. Not this one, but
It's a new book.
He's got a new book. Apparently, he's a multi-book selling author. So
He's wrote a new book, or he's promoting someone else's book?
he wrote a new book.
Okay.
He wrote a new book. Yeah, he's on promoting someone else's book. So yeah, we're gonna have him back on, and we should all wear tank tops and see if we can intimidate him because he only wears tank tops now that he's on TRT.
He made a video about it.
Yeah, I know. He goes, well, duh. Katie goes, what's TRT?
Are you serious?
Yeah, she didn't know. Anyways,
JD doesn't
Wait,
need to
she's-
be told to rip his sleeves off. He showed up to
Sure.
a kickball last night with 0 sleeves right off the bat. Like, we got our T-shirts. It was our first game of the season, and JD is sleeveless within the blink of an
It's
eye.
hot. It's hot down here in Texas.
it is.
not.
How did you remove the sleeves? Just hands?
Whoosh, like a
Really?
tearaway
Too much
pants.
power to bother with scissors.
He said like tearaway pants.
Wow. like you're a true Hulkamaniac.
That's right. I just had to flex. My arms are that big.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk style. Just pop, pop, pop.
A reminder.
Surprised Katie's not on that Peyton Manning wife plan. People
look-
forget Peyton Manning's wife was a big fan of TRT.
Yeah. Katie just looks like she's on PEDs. Okay, quick plugs. We've got women's freestyle concluding. We've got men's freestyle U20 starting
MFs.
starting
4 a.m.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So get ready for that.
No
And then a week later, we're going to be having World Team Trials next Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and 15th. Senior World Team Trials. Going to be amazing. Amazing week of wrestling. And then we're only a couple weeks from Who's Number One. So everything is happening.
And All-Star Classic and then CKLV.
Vegas
There's
trip.
never been a better time to get a Flow Wrestling subscription.
Never been a better time to be a wrestling fan. This is a good time to get a Flow Wrestling subscription. You would get so many great matches. And we haven't even announced all the college stuff, which I hope we can soon because we know you guys love college wrestling. So we'll have that.
Oh, you guys are your college wrestling. You're like, where's more college wrestling? I'm trying to watch college wrestling. All right.
We wouldn't even mention
Really
the
like that
actual.
much.
Wait, you said World Team Trials, but then we also have the Worlds too.
Oh, yeah, the Earth contest.
Olympics Part 2.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for correcting that. And that's right after Who's Number One, right? So it'll go Who's Number One, and then Worlds start like that Monday or Tuesday. So, yeah. That's
Beautiful.
absolutely amazing.
And then Halloween.
And then Halloween. And you can binge drink for Halloween?
Sure can.
And you are not going to invite me to your Halloween party?
Absolutely not.
All right. Now I'm going to crash it.
This was big drama last year.
Oh, big drama. I was so offended.
And why is that?
I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
How could anyone deny it after that? Just said it.
Exactly. No,
Calling CP a liar?
because we all know what it would have been.
No, this is the worst
here's what
thing ever.
would've- Here's what would have happened. You give me the invite, okay? You know I'm not gonna come, but at least you gave the invite, just the appearance of inviting me. I'm not gonna show up to your freaking.
It wouldn't have been an issue if it wasn't for the fact that Ollie is the worst person ever. You can't. I don't even invite him to things anymore because if I invite Ollie, the very first thing he does is walk over to CP's desk and say, "Hey, you guys are invited to Tyler's Halloween, the super sick Halloween party, right?" And everyone that wasn't invited immediately knows that they weren't invited.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a lesson to you.
Well,
Be a
Send
better
those-
friend.
Be a
It's
little
not your
more
guys'-
generous with your invites.
it's not your guys' vibe.
I invite you to.
We like to binge drink.
yeah.
We like to do fentanyl.
Walk that back.
We don't do fentanyl.
Kind of
That
sounds
much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, binge drinking down. We know what's up. Goodness
I
gracious.
I
mean,
think that's our cue to go.
yeah.
drinking is the original gateway drug. People forget
Yeah,
that.
that's right. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. 1,058 of these bad boys. And we'll be back with 1059 on Monday, right? Yeah. Yeah, Monday. You going to be here?
I don't do fentanyl.
Are you going to be here, though, Monday?
I had one thing I wanted to say.
All right. Maybe David Bray will be on. If not, we've got Andrew Spencer's Bay. Because we want to do a slammer scam. And I want to grill Bray on who's number one. I want all the matchups, and I want them now. Thank you guys so much. Check out U20s. We'll be back Monday. Have a great, great, great weekend. See you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.